You know that feeling when a simple decision hijacks your entire day? You're just trying to choose what to work on next, what to reply, whether to say yes or no, and suddenly your brain opens 47 tabs. You replay every scenario, you check what everyone else is doing, you scroll, stall, and stress, and still don't choose. That is not you being careful. That is a mental trap stealing your time, energy, and confidence. In this video, I'm giving you a complete decision framework designed for one purpose. Kill overthinking fast and choose now. Not reckless decisions, not lazy shortcuts, clean, confident choices you can live with. We'll turn vague advice like trust your gut into a concrete, repeatable system you can run in under 2 minutes. By the end, you'll know exactly what to do the next time your brain starts spiraling and you feel yourself freezing on a decision. Overthinking is expensive. It burns time you never get back, turns small choices into emotional emergencies, and quietly trains you not to trust yourself. This video is about reversing that pattern. We're going to build a practical decision framework in 3 layers: how to sort decisions, how to decide quickly, and how to move on without regret. You won't need a journal, a spreadsheet, or a life coach. Just a few rules you can remember under pressure. I'll walk you through real examples: career choices, relationships, money, and everyday stuff like what to work on first today. If you want more content like this, clear mental models you can actually use, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss future deep dives. And stay with me until the end, because I'll summarize this entire framework into a short checklist you can screenshot and keep on your phone for the next time you're stuck in your head. Before we build a framework, you need to understand what's really happening when you overthink. Overthinking is not you being thoughtful. It's your brain trying to avoid 3 things: uncertainty, responsibility, and emotion. Uncertainty says, what if I'm wrong? Responsibility whispers, if this goes badly, it's my fault. Emotion adds, and I don't want to feel regret, shame, or disappointment. So instead of choosing, you search for the perfect option that eliminates all risk and all negative feelings. That option doesn't exist. When your expectations for a decision are impossible, your brain loops. More information, more scenarios, more opinions. But information stops helping after a point. You're not gaining clarity, just collecting comfort. Our framework will attack this from 2 angles: lower the unrealistic demands you place on each decision, and create simple rules that make good enough safe and automatic. Once you see that, overthinking becomes optional, not inevitable. Step 1 of the framework: stop treating every decision like it's life or death. Most overthinkers use a one-size-fits-all mental process. Analyze everything to the max. That's like using a sledgehammer to hang every picture. We're going to use a 3-tier decision ladder. Tier 1, reversible and low impact. If you can easily undo it, and it barely matters in a week, it's a fast decision. Tier 2, partially reversible or moderate impact. It matters for months, but you're not locked in forever. Tier 3, irreversible or high impact. Think marriage, major surgery, moving countries. Overthinking happens when you treat Tier 1 like Tier 3. From now on, your first question is, which tier is this? Not what's the perfect answer. Once you label the tier, you earn permission to use a lighter, faster process. In the next segments, I'll show you exactly what process to use for each tier. Let's build rules for Tier 1. Reversible, low-impact decisions. These include what to wear, which email to answer first, which productivity app to try, what to eat today. Your new rule: decide in under 2 minutes using a simple constraint. Here's the mini protocol. 1. Set a 2-minute timer. Out loud say, this is Tier 1. I do not overthink Tier 1. 2. Pick a constraint: cheapest acceptable, fastest to start, healthiest available, or most aligned with today's main goal. 3. Choose the first option that meets the constraint. No ranking, no pros and cons list. 4. Commit not to reopen the decision unless something actually breaks. The goal is not perfect outcomes. It's reclaiming mental energy. Every small decision you speed up creates capacity for the big ones. Practice this aggressively for a week and notice how much lighter your days feel when 50 tiny choices stop turning into internal debates. Tier 2 decisions matter more. Jobs you apply for, projects you commit to, who you date, how you spend significant money or time. They're not permanent, but they shape your next 6-24 months. Here we use the 5-question snapshot designed to be answered in about 10 minutes. The questions: 1. What's the realistic best case in 1 year? 2. What's the realistic worst case in 1 year? 3. What is the most likely outcome? 4. What will I learn or gain even if it fails? 5. What am I afraid of that I haven't written down? Write bullet answers, then ask, am I okay with the likely outcome plus the worst case downside? If yes, decide. If no, what condition would make it okay? More savings, more information, a time limit. This snapshot trades fantasy for grounded scenarios, which is exactly what overthinking hates. Clear boundaries. You're not removing risk, you're defining it, then choosing with eyes open. Tier 3 decisions are the rare, heavy ones. Marriage, having kids, selling a business, radical career shifts, surgery with big risks. These deserve more time, but not infinite time. Overthinking here often shows up as endless research with no decision date. For Tier 3, use the deliberate window. 1. Define a decision deadline, 2 weeks, 3 months, whatever is appropriate. 2. Define a research quota, how many books, experts, opinions you'll seek. 3. Define your criteria, for example, health, values alignment, financial viability, family impact. During the window, you're allowed to gather information and feel anxious. At the deadline, you must choose the option that meets your criteria best, based on what you know. The rule: once chosen, you don't re-litigate daily. You can schedule structured reviews, say every 6 or 12 months, but not constant second-guessing. This gives Tier 3 decisions weight without letting them swallow your entire identity. So far, we've sorted decisions by impact. Now we need to handle the emotional side, because most overthinking isn't about facts, it's about fear. 2 fears dominate: fear of regret and fear of judgment. To neutralize regret, use this question: if my future self, 10 years from now, could watch me today, what would they respect more, my courage or my caution? Don't ask what outcome they'd prefer. Ask which choice of character they'd admire. For judgment, zoom out. In 5 years, whose opinion will still matter and why? Most of the imaginary audience in your head will have forgotten your decision in a week. Write down both answers for big decisions. Seeing your fears in ink makes them smaller and more specific. You can't promise yourself 0 regret or 0 criticism, but you can choose the version of you that you'd like to be stuck with long term. That's a much more powerful target than perfect outcomes. We also need a fast, in-the-moment protocol for those times you're spiraling. Here's the 2-minute choice protocol you can run anytime. Step 1. Name the decision in 1 sentence. I am deciding whether to accept this offer. Step 2. Assign the tier, 1, 2, or 3. Step 3. State your default. What happens if you do nothing? Keep your job, stay single, keep your money, maintain the habit. Step 4. Ask, is the default secretly my fear-based choice? If yes, name the fear. Step 5. Choose. Either consciously pick the default or one alternative, then say out loud, I am choosing X, knowing why. Speaking the decision anchors it. You move from I'm stuck to I chose. Even if you revisit it later, you're shifting from helplessness to agency, which is where overthinking loses most of its power. Perfectionism is gasoline on the fire of overthinking. If your secret rule is, I must pick the best possible option, your brain will never have enough information to feel safe. Replace perfection with thresholds. A threshold is a minimum standard that, once met, makes something good enough to choose. For example, any job that pays X lets me learn why, and doesn't violate Z value is acceptable. Or, any apartment under this budget, within this distance, with natural light, is a yes. Write your thresholds before you compare options. Otherwise, your brain moves the goalposts for every new possibility. Then, once an option meets your threshold, it becomes eligible for a quick decision, especially in Tier 1 and Tier 2. You can still prefer one option over another, but you're no longer pretending there's a perfect, risk-free path. Overthinking thrives on infinite comparison. Thresholds create a finish line where you're allowed to stop. Another hidden driver of overthinking is FOMO, fear of missing out on the better path. To handle FOMO, you need a philosophy of trade-offs. Choosing one thing means not choosing others, and that's okay. Try this mental shift. Every yes you say is also a powerful no you're choosing on purpose. When you commit to one partner, you're securing intimacy and shared history at the cost of hypothetical options. When you pick a career focus, you're gaining depth at the expense of breadth. Write out, by choosing X, I am willingly giving up A, B, and C, and here's why it's worth it. This reframes sacrifice as investment. Also remember you can design small bets instead of irreversible leaps. Try the new hobby for 30 days, test the business idea on weekends, date casually before exclusivity. When you see life as a series of experiments, FOMO shrinks and decisions become data, not destiny. Now let's talk about social pressure. Overthinkers often outsource their decisions to friends, family, or the internet, then feel more confused. Advice isn't bad, but unmanaged advice multiplies noise. Use the board of 3 rule. For any meaningful decision, you get a maximum of 3 advisors. Choose them intentionally. One who knows you deeply, one who understands the domain, money, health, career, and one who has the kind of life you want. Before asking, define the question and your criteria. Instead of what should I do, try, given my values X and goal Y, what trade-offs am I not seeing? After you listen, you still decide. Right. After hearing my board, my decision is. This keeps responsibility where it belongs, with you. Borrow wisdom, not ownership. When you stop hunting for consensus approval, overthinking loses one of its favorite excuses. I just need one more opinion. The final layer of this framework is post-decision hygiene, how you treat yourself after you choose. Overthinkers often torture themselves with endless what-if replays. That trains your brain to fear deciding. Adopt a closure ritual. 1. Write your decision, date, and reasoning in a simple log. 2. Add what you knew then and what you couldn't know. 3. State, I made the best decision I could with the information I had. Then set a review date if needed, 3 months, 6 months, a year. Until that review, you are not allowed to obsess unless new, major information appears. If the outcome is bad, you don't punish past you for not having future you's knowledge. You extract lessons. Next time, I'll ask these questions, or set this boundary. When your brain learns that decisions lead to feedback, not self-attack, it relaxes. You become someone who chooses, learns, and iterates instead of someone who waits, worries, and withers. Let's pull everything together into a snapshot you can actually use. First, you classify decisions into 3 tiers. Tier 1 is reversible and low impact. Make these in under 2 minutes with simple constraints. Tier 2 shapes your next months or couple of years. Use the 5-question snapshot to get realistic best, worst, and likely outcomes. Tier 3 is rare and heavy. Set a deliberation window, clear criteria, and a firm deadline. Second, you tackle emotion. Ask what your 10-year future self would respect. Identify whose opinions truly matter, and write down your fears so they shrink. Third, you run the 2-minute choice protocol when you're spiraling. Name the decision, assign the tier, reveal the default, and consciously choose. Finally, you replace perfection with thresholds, handle FOMO by naming trade-offs, limit advice to a board of 3, and practice closure rituals so decisions become experiments, not verdicts on your worth. Now it's your turn to put this into motion. Don't just nod along and move on to the next video. Pick one real decision you're currently stuck on and run the full framework today. Step 1. Label the tier. Step 2. Apply the right tool. 2-minute rule for Tier 1. Snapshot for Tier 2. Deliberate window for Tier 3. Step 3. Write your reasoning, state your choice out loud, and give yourself closure. If this was helpful, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you've got these kinds of mental tools on tap whenever life throws you a tough choice. Drop a comment with one decision you're going to make using this framework. No details needed if it's personal, just the tier and the tool you'll use. And if you want a part 2, where we walk through live decision examples from viewers, let me know below. For now, stop replaying, start deciding, and I'll see you in the next video.